Hey, hello, hi, happy Monday, happy week 2. Let's do a bell ringer. This is also from your benchmark. So let's dive into it. Which sequence of components correctly describes how the traits for eye color are expressed? Okay, so they made that sentence sound pretty fancy, but all it's asking is in what order are these things going to appear to make your traits or your physical characteristics become what they are? That's all it's asking. So whenever you see different terms laid out in a sequence like this, arrows pointing to each other, what you want to think about is one object is going to be pointing toward what it is becoming or what it's making or what the next step is. So you're typically going to want to start with either the smallest item or the part that comes first in the sequence. Duh. So we know our end result is going to be a trait because that's what the question is asking anyway. So the last part's going to be a trait. So you want to figure out, okay, what's the order between the DNA or the gene and the chromosome and the protein? What comes first, second, and third? So we remember, let me pull up a picture. Your genes are present on your DNA. And remember, your DNA is that ladder, kind of looking like a noodle type thing that tightly winds up. And they eventually coil up to form a chromosome. So the gene and DNA are becoming a chromosome. So the gene and DNA is going to come first, and the chromosome is going to come second. Then, after all of that is formed, your genes and DNA, all on that chromosome, they're going to make those proteins. Those proteins are those molecules that are eventually going to code for your traits. So we have our genes and DNA, number one, tightly wrapping up to form our chromosomes, number two, which eventually code for your proteins, number three. So that is going to be option A. B starts with the chromosome and then the protein, and it says the protein makes the DNA. That's backwards. C says the protein is in charge of making your genes and your chromosomes, also backwards. And D, this is where it gets tricky, D has your chromosomes forming before the DNA and the genes, which isn't the case, because remember that DNA and that gene is going to tightly wrap up to form the chromosome first. So go ahead and type down A, type why it's correct, and then I'll see you down there at direct instruction.